Oregon State Beavers versus Seattle U Redhawks. The Redhawks Center lights up for a West Coast Conference clash that carries real weight in the middle of the standings. Seattle U enters at 15-11 overall and 4-9 in conference play, sitting just ahead of Oregon State, who arrives 14-13 overall and 7-7 in WCC action. The Beavers are fighting to solidify their conference footing, while the Redhawks are trying to halt a slide and stay within striking distance in the lower half of the table. The numbers lean strongly toward the home side, a 72.3% projected edge for Seattle U. But Oregon State brings momentum and balance into a matchup that feels far tighter than the projections suggest. This is a statement opportunity for both programs. Stability for the Beavers, resurgence for the Redhawks. Seattle U averages 73.0 points per game to Oregon State's 71.0, while allowing just 68.0 points compared to the Beavers' 74.0. That defensive gap tells a story. The Redhawks play tighter, more physical half-court basketball. Oregon State counters with rhythm and ball movement, distributing 13.3 assists per game and hitting 42.6% from the field. Seattle shoots 44.4% overall and a comparable 33.3% from three, with Oregon State slightly better from deep at 35.6%. At the line, the Beavers convert 77.6%, a clear advantage over Seattle's 70.8%. On the glass, Seattle holds the edge, 33.5 rebounds per game to Oregon State's 31.6. They also generate more steals, 8.0 to 5.7, and blocks, 4.9 to 3.7, signaling disruptive perimeter defense and interior presence. Josiah Lake II drives Oregon State's offense with 13.4 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 3.9 assists per game, shooting 49.5% from the floor and 83.3% at the line. He's supported by John Munch's 4.8 rebounds and Isaiah Tsai's 10.0 points per game. Des White adds 10.0 points while spacing the floor at nearly 39% from three. The Beavers' identity is shared scoring and ball security, 11.8 turnovers per game, but they lack a dominant interior defensive enforcer. Seattle counters with Braden Maldonado's 14.7 points per game on 42.3% shooting and an elite 92.5% from the stripe. Wilf Heimbrod anchors the paint with 11.6 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks per game, giving Seattle a true rim protector. Magic Arrington adds 4.4 assists and 2.2 steals, applying pressure at the point of attack. This team's defensive backbone, 207 total steals and 128 blocks, shapes their structure. They contest everything. The defining theme is Oregon State's perimeter efficiency versus Seattle's defensive disruption and rebounding control. Shot quality versus shot denial. Recent form sharpens the contrast. Oregon State has won 4 of its last 5. Victories over San Francisco, Washington State, San Diego in overtime, and LMU, with their only stumble an 81-61 loss to Gonzaga. They're scoring efficiently and closing games with composure. Seattle U, meanwhile, has dropped 4 of its last 5. Losses to St. Mary's, Portland, Washington State, and Pacific surround a lone 83-81 win over Pepperdine. The offense has been inconsistent, and defensive execution has wavered late in games. At the center of this contest is Lake versus Maldonado. Lake operates with poise, nearly 50% shooting, controlled tempo, efficient decision-making. Maldonado plays downhill, drawing contact and converting free throws at an elite rate. If Lake dictates pace, Oregon State flows. If Maldonado gets to the line and forces rotations, Seattle tilts the floor. Tactically, this game hinges on rebounding and transition control. Seattle's +2 rebounding edge and rim protection can limit second-chance points. Oregon State must stretch the floor and attack closeouts, leveraging its 35.6% three-point shooting and superior free throw accuracy. Turnovers will be decisive. Seattle averages 12.0 per game, slightly higher than Oregon State's 11.8. Extra possessions could swing momentum. Watch the bench and interior defense. Heimbrod's presence deters drives. If he stays out of foul trouble, Seattle's defense stabilizes. If Oregon State spreads the floor and forces him into space, the Beavers gain driving lanes and kick-out rhythm. In a game likely played in the low 70s, tempo control and late-game execution will matter most. Seattle's defensive structure and home court environment provide a steady edge, but Oregon State's recent surge and perimeter efficiency keep this within reach. Prediction: Seattle U 74, Oregon State 69. The Redhawks' rebounding advantage and rim protection create just enough separation. Defensive discipline and free throw execution close it out, and the home floor proves decisive.